Hello and welcome back to Art with Mr. Dye. Today, as you can see, we are going to be working with a line. Perhaps you remember this book by Peter Reynolds titled The Dot, where the little girl makes her first picture by simply making a dot. Later on, she learns that a dot moving through space creates line. And in other books, we find that by bending a line, you can create all kinds of shapes. And as in this example, you can create a 3D effect where it looks as if the hand is actually coming up off the paper. Perhaps it's under a cloth or something like that. All right, so you see it here. Now I am going to demonstrate how to create this piece, and while I'm adjusting the camera, I will say that you can also create other things in that picture rather than just a hand, but I suggest all of you start with the hand and then you can try to become creative and figure out something else. Okay, so if I put this up here on the board, where shout out to Mrs. Bergam for giving us these nice big boards. I can do some art on those at times. Today I found that working on that is a little awkward for this kind of drawing, so I'm going to do it down here so that I can do a little better job of demonstrating it. Okay, so the first thing to do, you will need your pencil and trusty eraser, as we do make mistakes. I have found that out today. And a piece of white paper or any light colored paper could work. You're going to lay your hand down like this, trying to keep it straight up, and then simply take your pencil and trace around your fingers. Now you want to keep the pencil nice and tight against your fingers, otherwise they look sort of like balloons. My thumb on one I tried to do earlier today, I tried to do it up here, and it was just so awkward that it looked like I'd been out working on putting together some wood and hammered my thumb. It looked ballooned out so big that... Now, I did that nice and dark so you can see it, but you'll remember that most often when we do things, I suggest to you to do it how? Very lightly. So, now that you can see it, I suggest you do it very lightly. Now, I'm going to take my nice big eraser and erase it so that I will still be able to see the lines, but you might not be able to at this point. If you do, then you probably have some pretty keen eyes. That's good. I should be able to see it because it's going to be so close to me, right in front of me, that I'll still be able to see the outline. And okay, sorry you had to watch that part. If you do it lightly, you won't have to go through that process. All right. So, again, there it is. Very light. Perhaps you can still see the lines. But if not, that's okay, because you're going to see it as I do the work. I'm sorry, I'm checking my camera to see what you can see. Okay, I believe I've got it there where everybody can see it. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom. Ooh, glad I have a backup pencil. That one's graphite is coming out. Okay, I make a straight line across until I hit where I see that light line of my wrist, and then I bubble it up, and already I've made a mistake. because I have bubbled that up really high, probably higher than I would want. Okay, that's a little severe. When I did this one, I think I only had to use the eraser one time. I have a feeling it'll happen more often this time, but we'll see. Okay, I'm gonna move that down. So I like that line much better, but I'm still going to adjust it just a little. Okay, next line, keeping it close to the other and trying to bubble it the same way. When you get to the other side of the wrist, go straight again. I'm not going to go through the whole lesson with you. I'll do one more here down on the wrist, and then you can see that that would continue on up. So rather than take time to show every one of those, I'm going to skip on up till we get up here near the thumb. Okay, so down here I'm going across. It's much better to do it all the way through, but I'm going to save you some time. I'm just making a little arc there, a little arc. If you make the arcs too extreme, you run into some problems when you get up into the finger area, which is why I'm doing it on this flat surface. While I would like to show it on here, it's just this one's a little difficult to do that with. So, all right, so hopefully you're seeing this okay. I'm barely getting to the thumb now, so a little change is going to happen now. As I hit the hand this time, I go up, but right here I'm hitting the end of the hand right here, and there's a gap between the hand and the thumb. So where that gap is, I'm actually going to drop it down instead of the upward. Instead of this upward, it's actually dropping down and then curving back up to the thumb, and then that will curve again and then back down. There. Now let's watch it again. To the hand, little arc up. Now it's going to loop down, back up to the thumb, curve over the thumb, and straight across. And I'll do two more of those, and then perhaps we'll move on to the next. Although now we're pretty close to, might arc that one a little bit extra. All right. So I'm getting pretty close to something new happening. So let me just do these rather quickly because we're so close to having something new. Wouldn't make sense to skip over it. All right. So now I come over, I arc up a little. Now I'm between fingers, so I arc down, loop. Oop, now here's where you have to be careful. You don't want to overdo it. So I'm just going to keep it like that to the end of that one. Loops down up to the thumb, over and straight. Oh, I forgot on that last one, didn't I? Now we're seeing the shape of that thumb, aren't we? Come over, up over the finger, down between them, up over, we're right in between, so I'm going to go up again, there's a down, up again, down, now down, back to the thumb curves up, and straight across. And I know some of you are thinking, why is that big piece out? So we're going to get rid of that. Had to use that eraser again. Over, up, Now you're going to see it loops down and back up. Down. So if you weren't seeing the fingers, you're figuring out where they are now, aren't you? Alright, the thumb's about gone, so I'll have to figure out a new thing for it. So here's a new step. We've got the up and over, down, up over the finger, little teeny curve between the fingers, little dip between the fingers, dip between the finger and the thumb, although the thumb's pretty much gone. So I'm just going to soften that line so it's not arcing as much. Alright, and now down, up and over, down, up and over, and loops down, and just make it into a straight one now because our thumb has finished. Alright, so that is the procedure you would keep on doing. And I'm going to turn it this way so that you can see it now as another direction. And I'll do one or two this way.